Good morning. How is everybody? Hey, our topic for today, we are on chapter 12. All right, let's do chapter 12. It is managing individuals and a diverse workforce. All right. So, what are the learning outcomes to describe diversity and explain why it matters? To summarize the special challenges that the dimensions of surface level diversity pose for managers. Right. Explain the dimensions of deep level diversity and how it affects individual behavior and interactions in the workplace, and explain the basic principles and practices that can be used to manage what diversity. All right. So as you become a manager, you're gonna be managing what a diverse group of people, right? Um, what is diversity? Is the differences. We all have differences. We all have different backgrounds, right? We all come from different places. You cannot have a job where you only have Native Americans or where you only have black people, white people. No, America was what is a it's a melting pot of diversity. You have people from all walks of life, right? I think there are what 195 countries in the world, and everybody there is a person from I think each country in America. I was in New York for some time, and you meet all kind of people, you know. I mean, by way of national origin, all right? By way of what color, by way of their religion, their way of their culture, by way of personality. All right, it's also personality also makes people different, right? By way of sex, of course. So it's just how different we are, the variety of people that you have to manage as a manager, right? You can't put everybody in the same basket, okay? You have to basically, um, know what buttons to push on certain kind of people, and you also know how know you got to know what to say to certain people to get them going, and to other people you have to find a different approach. Um, there are a lot of managers who tell you yes, you don't actually treat everybody the same, or um, although you want to set the same rules, set the same standards, right? But there are some people with different personalities, okay, and so you have to know what gets them going. Some people, if you criticize them so much, they coil into their shells. Some people too, if you criticize them, they want to prove you wrong, right? So there are so many ways that you can treat this people from diverse background. All right. Overall, how well you manage diversity is gonna determine um, your competitive advantage. Yes, it's a factor. You can get competitive advantage, which you all know what competitive advantage is, right? Um, you know, um, giving um, giving what you call it customers better products, better service, and all that, right? Creating value, creating more value for customers than your competitors. All right. So, as I said, if you look at the PowerPoint slide 5, you're gonna see the current state of diversity in America. We are in 2025. We have about 57% white people. We have about what 20% Hispanics, right? Which I don't think is the accurate number. I think Hispanics have grown a whole lot. 12% blacks and about what 6.2 Asian. Um, Native Indians are only about 0.7%. You know, and then people from other places. And so this is yep. And people from other places are also what about 0.3%. Um, so definitely you're gonna get. a lot of people in your job as a manager. You have to know how to manage them. All right. Now, apart from diversity, we have what we call affirmative action. Right. Affirmative action is the law. It's the law of the land. All right. In terms of business. Now, when it comes to college admission, it's been struck down. It was struck down by the Supreme Court. Uh, I think in 2023, and so there's no affirmative action. But affirmative action is was put in place to create employment opportunities for people who have been discriminated upon. All right, because most of these jobs um, actually belong to um, white people, and and so they decide who they want to hire, who they don't want to hire. But and so they tend to hire more of of them than other group of people. But then, as you know, if you go back to management theories, you know that this is uh, somebody like Weber, Max Weber, didn't like it and wants the best qualified person to get the job, and they know that. People know that. All right, people know that. If you get the most qualified person, what again? You're gonna create sustainable advantage. You can even get what you're gonna create competitive advantage, and you can even get sustainable advantage from it. So um, it was, affirmative action again was put in place to prevent ongoing discrimination and to also right people who have been wronged by what discrimination. So the purpose is that, and we want what equal opportunity for everybody. All right. The importance of diversity cannot be overemphasized. Of course, people from different backgrounds, when they come together, um, it leads to, creativity, creativity and innovation. So here, let's say Asians, they do things differently, right, than white people or than Native Americans, right? So when we all come together and we have a problem, right? This guy wasting, this guy wasting, this guy is wasting, and then you're gonna realize that you can be able to get a new way, a new method to solve um, the problem. All right. So it actually leads to innovation. But if we are all the same, if we all come from the same background, we are from Sisseton, we used to a certain way of doing things, and it creates this lack of creativity, which leads to what? Innovation. All right. And also, if you have a diverse workforce, it actually attracts more qualified people because they know that, oh, they're friendly to my kind, right? So uh, they're friendly to your kind, so you want to also go work there, right? If you go to a place where it's only the job is only Native Americans there, and you're the only person who's applying, you don't kind of feel comfortable, right? And also customers see that, so when you're at a workplace and a customer who is different, and let's say a Hispanic customer, right? You have a Hispanic employee who knows that person, they can form a cordial relationship, because they know where they're coming from. You see that ad that they do, I think Capital One ad or something, where the person who's making the call is the same person who's the customer. So there's likeness. You want somebody who can understand you. It creates a whole, it also creates understanding. When you have somebody there who is understands where your background, where you coming from. All right. So we often hear of what diversity and inclusion. So what is that? Inclusion is valuing everybody's perspective, um, valuing everybody's perspective, everybody's contribution, and everybody's presence. So it's emphasis on what valuing, right? Having respect, just letting them contribute and respecting their contribution, not just brush it aside. All right, we don't want to hear from you because you're different from us. No, so it's not just diversity; it's just not bringing the people, different people to the workplace, but also valuing what their contributions are. Right. So research has shown that when you have diversity and inclusion, right? When you have a diverse workforce, and also there is what inclusion, it leads to just better performance and better revenue. And with me, I have traveled all over the world, and what keeps me going is meeting different people. I just love to meet different people and talk to them and see, oh, this is interesting, right? This is what you do, right? And it's the same way with a lot of people, but people don't realize that. Um, so in the workplace, when you have a diverse group of people, they kind of gravitate towards each other. Yep, they they become more encouraged to get the job done. And research shows that that by itself leads to what greater revenues, creativity, and also high employee retention. All right. All right. So there are two types of diversity, or diversity, as others say. I like diversity. All right. So, all right, there are two types here. We're talking about surface level diversity, and then deep level diversity. As the name implies, what surface level is just what you see, my skin color, right? My height, my weight, right? You can see my age. You can tell what range my age is. Yeah, I know you guys know that I'm just 21 years old, right? Yeah. All right. Yeah. So things that you can observe on a person, their sex. I mean, I can see you and tell you, oh, that's a woman. No, that's a man. Unless you go do something else to yourself, and, you're a transgender, then nobody knows exactly. People can be fooled. But then again, um, what you appear like is what you know they give you the benefit of, right? So that also can be taken care of. But then there's deep level diversity. Deep level diversity is mostly your personality. All right. So I have to be with you for some time to know who you really are. Right. What is your personality? It's your set of um, behavior, attitude, and emotions that you've displayed over a period of time. All right. Um, so it becomes who you are, becomes part of you. And so with that, for me to know, I have to what? Be with you for some time. I have to communicate with you for some time before all these things are gonna come out. All right. Um, all right. And so, we have what we call social integration, right? Um, which focuses on bringing all these diverse people together. All right, so that is just what social integration is. All right, so with deep level diversity, right, which I said is based on what personality. There are five what dimensions of personality. All right, which is whether you are an introvert or an extrovert, which is one, right? An extrovert is what a very sociable person who gets motivated by meeting people, right? You just want to communicate all the time, right? An introvert is just a shy person who doesn't want to be, who's not sociable. They're not gregarious. They get energized. They get encouraged by their ideas. So most of them are just, they stick to themselves. They're just reading some book or they just thinking about something, but do not count them out. So in your organization, you're going to deal with people like that. Don't force them into situations that they don't like. You got to make sure that you are able to put everybody in a situation that they like. All right. So that's number one. Number two, the second dimension of diversity is openness. All right, how open you are to people, to ideas. All right, some people are just adventurous. Let's get going. They are tolerant of other people, right? They are very tolerant. They are welcoming. All right, that is a person who is very open. Now we also have what conscientiousness. A conscientious person here. We're talking about in the organization. We're talking about somebody who is hardworking, somebody who is achievement oriented, who is very organized, right? They're gonna be there, they do everything, they prepare everything before they get there. They make sure that they cross all their T's and dot all their I's. All right. They are very thorough. Um, yep, they are very thorough in their dealings. And then we also have people who are emotionally stable or unstable, right? Any little thing makes them what? Cry. Any little thing makes them depressed. Or any little thing gets them too excited. So there are people like that. If you are so emotionally um, unstable, this can affect you. Um, yeah, this can affect your what you call it, performance at a job. You have to be very even, right? Um, there is an example of this guy who was a pilot, right? Who was a pilot. I forgot his name, but as soon as it took off, there was there was this there was this you know birds flew into the engines of the plane, so he lost both engines. Sally, his name is yeah, they call him, yes, Sally. So he was a pilot, and so as soon as he took off from New York LaGuardia Airport, bears struck his engine, and he lost both engines. So now the plane was going to crush. Right now, what does he have to do? He has to control his emotions. Now, if he was somebody who didn't have emotional stability, he would have freaked out, right, and made the wrong decisions. But by the way, they asked him, so what happened? I mean, how were you able to maneuver this plane? He maneuvered the plane and put it and landed in the Hudson River. All right, in the Hudson River, nobody died. Okay, nobody died. It was cold, but then as soon as he landed, they were able to get everybody out of the plane. And they asked him how he was able to do that. He said, okay, first of all, so many things crossed his mind, but then he realized that the lives of so many people were in his hands. And so he has to remain calm. He has to remain calm. When he remains calm, he gets a clear thought. So he was able to, yep, his name is Salimberger. They call him Sally. All right. And so the other one is what? Openness to experience, of course. So that is the other dimension. Five dimensions, right? Open to experience. They are what also um, very open to new things, right? They are adventurous and stuff. Yep. and they want to. They are actually very creative people, people who are open to experiences. Okay, I don't know how you know what your personality is, but I think mine is um, probably um, I'm very open to experience, right? I'm conscientious, very well organized, and prepared. I like to do things the right way, very achievement oriented and stuff. Um, what else? Of course, I'm emotionally stable. I don't lose my mind or do all kind of stuff. All right. So let's take the dimensions one after the other. First, we're going back to what the surface level diversity and talk about age. All right. Now, age discrimination, which we all know is illegal, right? You cannot discriminate against people because they are older. All right. Yeah. Yep. Because they are older, it is against the law. And actually, hiring older people is could be very beneficial to your company because older people mostly do not call in giving excuses like, okay, I'm sick, this, that. They don't um, experiment also on the job. They know what they are doing. They take more responsibility than um, than younger people, right? Younger people don't really have that experience, and they're gonna make mistakes. So that's gonna cost you a whole lot of money. But then on the other hand, older people could also cost you a whole lot of money because the older you get, um, you might develop health problems, and so you add to their insurance, they add to cost. Younger people can also be very creative. All right, they want to introduce new things. They don't do the same thing all the time. You know, they are very savvy, and so yes, and so when you hire younger people too, it's an advantage. So what do you do? So you gotta hire what some, right? Older, younger, because they all have their advantages and their disadvantages. All right. And then what else? Sex discrimination. All right, that is also illegal. Per what the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Article 7. Do not discriminate because of sex. You can only discriminate when there is what bona fide occupation. Yeah, bona fide occupational qualification, right? That means what that it is very necessary for the job. I need roofers, all right. I'm not gonna hire women to get on the roof. That is not what that is not the ideal situation, especially when there's a pregnant woman involved, all right. So that is what sex discrimination. Now, women have been trying to break the proverbial glass ceiling. Glass ceiling is a barrier that prevents women from reaching the top to become also CEOs and presidents and stuff like that. So, but um, progress has been made. Okay, in corporate America, um, there's a lot of women who are now on the board. Back then, in the year 1995, you only have about 0.095 women. Right in 2020, it's about 26% of all board of directors are women, and also in corporate offices. All right, it's also about 26%. Back in 1995, it was what 0.8. All right, so but there is still the complaint, not complaint. Well, it's a complaint, and it is true that women actually make less. they get paid like 20 cents lesser than men, or probably 25 cents lesser. So if a man is making $1, a woman is making what, 75 cents from doing the same job. So why is that? And so, but it is illegal. All right. Now, gender, of course, um, here in this case, you're looking at what sexual orientation. Or, okay, who are you attracted to? Just because you're attracted to somebody else, if you're a man, you're attracted to somebody else other than a woman, that don't make you. That is not illegal. All right. Although these days I think Trump is trying to make it um, illegal, right? But you cannot discriminate, on a person because of their sexual orientation or because they are what, transgender, right? So we're still looking into it. Um, when we were born, we were told that it is either a man or a woman. My religious belief tells me that too. So now, but now there are all kind of what else? There are people who want to be in between. Um, you can't discriminate against them, right? Because that is not what you're going to be doing on the job, right? The person is good at sales. The person is a good lawyer. The person is a good professor. What's that got to do with with their sex or with their gender? In this case, their gender. Also, you can't discriminate based on what the racial or ethnic groupings. All right, um, that is also on the surface level, and so we try not to. No, we don't try. We actually do not discriminate because of the person's ethnicity. All right. Um, then what else? Of course, you're gonna be able to see the person's disability physically. Um, with some it could be mental, but with physical discrimination, most of the time somebody's got a handicap walking or got a handicap with their arm or stuff. Um, that don't mean that they cannot do the job. So also this is a surface level what discrimination. That disability discrimination based on disability is against the law. Studies show that as long as companies make reasonable accommodations for disabilities, they are going to be able to produce. Some of them even produce better than people who are what? Who are not disabled. All right, because they always, got to, unfortunately, to prove themselves. Because, a lot of people are doubting them and stuff. So they actually do better. Okay. All right. So as I mentioned, deep level diversity is what your what personality. All right, and personality is a construct of what your psychological makeup. So your yep. And psychology. So psychology, your psychological makeup is what is your personality and your cognitive ability, your decision making. But we can put all under what under personality. Um, well, and also your level of IQ, right? So let's say personality and your level of IQ. So your personality and yep, and your level of IQ. All right, it's which we've discussed. So your level of what extraversion? Are you assertive, gregarious, right? Or you are this person who just keeps to themselves? How emotionally stable are you? How agreeable are you? How polite are you? How flexible are you? How good natured? How tolerant? How trusting of each other? You get along. You get along with people, right? And then you are what, conscientious also, which I already explained, and open to experience, open to new ideas, open to new people, open to new things. You want to explore. You are just an adventurous person. So these are what the five dimensions of personality. Who are you? All right. So how do we solve this diversity problem? We have a whole lot of paradigms, right? Paradigms are what typical examples that, in this case, typical example that we can use. Um, Number one is what discrimination and fairness paradigm, where um, we focus here on treating people fairly. Yes, we go you know above and beyond to make sure that everybody is being treated fairly. We don't even have to, because it is part of the American Constitution, and it's everybody's a human being. Why do you have to treat people differently, right? So, but then we got to focus on it that everybody is getting fair treatment out here. All right. The only way they're not going to treat you fairly is if you're not performing. Right. It should be only on performance basis, not just because you don't like my personality, but this is how I am. I can't change it. Right. You don't like my surface level diversity. All right. But what am I supposed to do? Peel my color and become somebody else? No. All right. So discrimination. So the paradigm is what discrimination and fairness paradigm. It focuses on equal opportunity and treating people um, fairly. You actually hire minority. All right. This is how we can solve that problem. But then the disadvantage of it is that you just focusing on what on surface level diversity, because you are making an effort to um, hire hire what minorities, treating minorities the same like you're supposed to, right? It doesn't go deep enough. They are saying that paradigm um, is mostly at a surface level. All right. So also access and legitimacy paradigm. All right, where you actually value, which let's see it from that point of view, from the inclusion point of view, where you value people's contribution and you celebrate what people you celebrate people for being different. We just had what Black History Month. We celebrate Native American history. A lot of people fought for Native Americans to get their land and to live comfortably. And I think of what um, Red Bulls. I forgot the name. Yeah, but he was at the forefront, right? You guys know better than me, all right? So the benefit is that it establishes a clear business reason for diversity, right? When you actually won't make that effort to celebrate other people for who they are, to make them all feel what valued. The limitation is also that it is just at the surface. All right, so I'm looking at you, or you Native American. I'm looking at you, or you Black, or you Hispanic. So I'm celebrating, Hispanic Day, and stuff like that. I'm celebrating Irish Day because there's only a few Irish, here and stuff like that. So the limitation is that it is what it is a surface level. Now, so there is another paradigm which takes care of what the deep level diversity, and that is the learning and effectiveness what paradigm, which focuses on integrating people based on what their deep level differences, their deep level diversity differences, such as their personality, such as their IQ, their intelligent quotient, their cognitive abilities, all right, their abilities to to be logical, to their ability to understand things, their their ability to be able to interpret things, to solve problems and stuff. um yeah, so when you have the learning and effectiveness paradigm, you are actually um bringing people together based on what their deep level diversity, all right, or yep, deep level differences. We have what we call organizational plurality, which is just a work environment where everybody, different people are tolerated. Inclusion is tolerated, and everybody's just living or working in a mutual admiration atmosphere. All right. All right. So, how do you train people on diversity? All right. Now, I come in here, I'm quite different. If you haven't, you've never met somebody maybe like me, different, you have to, what? And it happens. It happens in many organizations, right? Where people, maybe managers, don't know how to treat a Chinese person because Chinese people are a little different. You don't call out their name so loud. Okay, so as a manager, you actually have to know all these things. All right. If you have a Chinese person in your job, you have a Mexican, you have an African, you have a Jamaican, you got to know how to treat them. You just don't say that, oh, I don't know how to treat these people, so I'm not going to hire them. It may go against you. It is discrimination, and more importantly, what you're not going to get the best employees. Maybe they are the best employees. So what are you doing? So you have to train people to be able to understand different cultures, different backgrounds, right? To be able to treat them, nicely, um, even at all, just be tolerant. If you tolerate people, they're going to be able to tell you um, who, how they are, and what they know, and but at the same time, rules are rules. Certain coming in early, doing your job, and stuff like that. That is just how it is. Everybody would be happy to do that, but then when you start doing certain things that you're not supposed to be doing, then that creates the problem. So you have to be um, aware. All right, there's awareness training designed to raise employees' awareness of diversity. All right, you have to know that there are people who are not um, from your neck of the woods. So don't be telling certain kind of jokes against certain kind of people. Um, and stuff. Like I said, you know how you don't scream and yell on other people. People greet people differently. Some people just want to bow. All right. Yeah, and stuff. All right. So you gotta be able to create that cultural awareness. We live in a global world, and it's not that difficult to know, what people, who people are, their backgrounds, and where they're coming from. And the best, um, uh, you know, you can also do what diversity pairing. So you pair, let's say, the Chinese guy with the um, American guy, right? And then after that, you make another pairing. So we learn from each other. Ooh, this is what it is. So on the job, sometimes um, you say, oh, the two of you got to be doing the same job, so you get to know each other, yeah, and then yeah, so that helps a whole lot, right? That is more practical than any. thing. You also have to conduct what diversity audits to make sure audit is just what a check on things to make sure that the diversity policies are being followed. All right. All right. Um, so this is a short lecture. It's a short chapter. So that is about it. Answer the last question. Um, chapter on slide number 34. All right. So we've been able to describe diversity and explain why it matters, right? Summarize special challenges that the dimensions of surface level diversity poses, deep level diversity, which is also very important. We will also be able to explain the basic principles and practices that can be used to manage diversity. All right. Okay, so I'll see you next time. All right, y'all be good. Do your assignments. Let's get it. Let's get everything done. And very soon you're gonna know that you are at the end of it. You get your degree and move on. All right. All right. Bye bye.